Hi friends, my name is Faye and you're watching Mystery Date with a Book. Today we're going to be talking about my favorite books set in a boarding school. Now, because of the nature of the theme, most of these recommendations are going to be middle grade or YA books, okay? We have, let me just check here. We have 2 middle grades, we have 3 YAs and 1 adult book. We're gonna go by age group, okay? We're gonna start with middle grade, YA, and then finish with an adult book. Now, to start off, I'm not even going to mention Harry Potter because that's an obvious one. Everybody loves Harry Potter, well, most people love Harry Potter. And if you haven't read Harry Potter yet, I don't even know what to say. You should read Harry Potter, okay? Go read it before you do anything else with your life. Go read Harry Potter first, okay? Right, now, we're gonna get straight into it. The first book I have here to show you is a classic, and I love this classic. I'm not a big classic fan, but this one is such... and that is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. I've recently listened to Pages & Co. by... can't remember who it's by right now. I'm gonna put a cover up here so you can see. I've listened to that one. That one is not set in a boarding school, but I just want to mention it. That book mentions this one, and it's such a precious little book. It's so good. So if you haven't read it yet, I really do recommend it. It's middle grade. It's easy to get through it. You're gonna fly through this book, honestly. Look at the size of it. Like it's tiny. Like I have small hands. Look at it. It's quite small. It's, how many pages do we have here? Just under 300. Under 300 pages. So technically, you could read this in a day if you really push yourself. A Little Princess. It's a classic. It's about Sarah, this girl who was, I think she was born in India, but then her parents are British, so she comes over to England whenever her mom dies. Her dad brings her over to England and leaves her in a boarding school, and the rest is history. Things happen, and it's such a cute, fluffy little book. I love this. It's very wintry in a way. I think I'm gonna reread this over at Christmas because it is a very Christmassy book. It's a very cozy read, so if you haven't read it yet, read it please. Right, now our next middle grade book we have here is a bit of a mystery, but it's not dumbed down for, children. It's a really good mystery, and it is Murder Most Unladylike by Robin Stevens. This is the first in a series. There's a whole series. Let me put it on this side. There's a whole series based on this, and it's amazing. Murder Most Unladylike. I got this as a gift, and oh my goodness, I flew through this book. It's obviously set in a boarding school. That's why it made the list. And there's a mystery. Somebody gets killed, but the police, they don't really investigate it properly. So 2 of the girls in the boarding school, they decide to investigate it for themselves, and it's brilliant. I didn't see the end coming, honestly. I don't know if I'm just really stupid or if it's a really good middle grade book. I didn't see the end coming, but it's really good. Now, the first book I recommended to you was a fluffy classic. This one is more of a mystery, sort of like Agatha Christie or something along those lines. It's really good. If you like your mysteries, then yeah, Murder Most Unladylike. I really do recommend it. Okay, so those were our 2 middle grade books. Now we're gonna go up an age group and into our YAs, young adult. First young adult I want to recommend to you is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson, I want to say. I'm gonna put it up here. Oh, my little chick is on camera. Hi, chick. Sorry, I got distracted. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so our first YA book is Truly Devious. It's part of a trilogy. Well, it's a whole trilogy. Truly Devious. The Vanishing Stairs, and now The Hand on the Wall. I haven't read the third one yet, but the first two are really good. It's set in a boarding school, but it's a very specialized boarding school. You have to be invited into it. You can just buy yourself in. You're invited because you have something special to offer. So this girl, I can't remember her name right now, she gets invited into this prestigious boarding school in the middle of nowhere because she wants to find out what happened years and years ago whenever the school was founded. The founder of the school, something tragic happened to his family. His wife and his little daughter went missing, and this girl wants to find out what happens. That's her specialty. She is sort of like a detective. You know, that's her specialty, I want to say. Each of the students in the school have a different specialty, and it's so good. It's so good. It's a proper mystery as well, but it's a bit more grown up, you know, it's YA. And yeah, I really do recommend it, the whole trilogy. I haven't read the last one yet, but I will. At some point, it's gonna happen. Okay, and the next YA I want to recommend to you is, it's more like a trilogy, it's not just one book. It is the Grisha trilogy. This is the first book, Shadow and Bone, by Leigh Bardugo, or as I like to call her, Queen Bardugo, because she can do no wrong for me. This is the beautiful edition that Kat from Brews and Reviews got for me, and she got Leigh Bardugo to sign it. It's so pretty! So yeah, anyway, the Grisha trilogy. This might be a bit unexpected to some of you, but if you remember, if you've read this trilogy, you know that our main character, Alina, she goes to a boarding school. She goes to a special school to hone in her power and learn and get better. They all live in the same place. She gets a bit excluded, but it's part of the story. But anyway, it's set in a boarding school. You wouldn't think it does, but it does. And yeah, I love this trilogy. Now, in my opinion, I know it's an unpopular opinion, I've already talked about this on my channel, I like the Grisha trilogy a lot more than the Six of Crows duology. It's not a trilogy, it's a duology. I didn't really like Six of Crows. I thought it could have been better without all the flashbacks, you know, taking us out of the action. But anyway, that's that's a story for another video. Why am I going on a tangent all the time here? Okay, Shadow and Bone, the Grisha trilogy. It's set in a boarding school. It has a lot of magic in a way. It's more of a fantasy book, fantasy YA. It's not mystery like the others or classic. No, it's just fantasy. It has a lot of action in it. So yes, it's a really good book. I'm not gonna give you any spoilers because, you know, I wouldn't want to do that to you. But if you haven't read the Grisha trilogy yet, do yourself a favor, pick it up. It's really easy to read. It's fantastic to read as a buddy read, as I did with Kat from Brews and Reviews. It's brilliant. So yeah, read the Grisha trilogy, please, people, read it. Okay, now another YA I want to recommend. It's also part of a series, and it is, I'm gonna put it up here, it is Uglies by Scott something Field. I'm really bad with names, I need to get better with it. Okay, right, here we go. Uglies. It's set in a society where everyone from the age of, let me see if I can get this right, from the ages of 5 to 15, I think, they have to go to this separate area of the city where they're basically in a boarding school 24/7. That's it, that's where they live. So they go to boarding school from 5 to 15. Then on the day of their 16th birthday, they have an operation and they become pretties. So before that, they're uglies, and it's a whole dystopian scenario. And it's brilliant as well. I've read the first 3 books and it's amazing. I think there's a little novella called Extras. I'm not quite sure about that one. I haven't read it. But yeah, it's brilliant. If you like dystopian kind of stories, go for it. It's really, really good. So yeah, if you like dystopian. Uglies by Scott something Field. Or something Scottfield. Ooh, I don't know now. Okay, now, last but not least, we have our adult book. It is The Fifth Season by somebody. I need to start writing these names down, honestly, because I'm really bad with names, so at least I could have read them. But yeah, anyway, the 5th season, it's also a series, or a trilogy, I think it's a trilogy. I've only read the first one, and the story is told from 3 different perspectives. One of the perspectives is from a child in a boarding school, sort of like the Grisha trilogy, where she goes to a special school to hone in her power, to learn how to use her power. So that is a brilliant, brilliant book. It does take a while to get into it, I'm gonna be honest, but once you do, oh my goodness, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, the 5th season, it's kind of hard to describe. It's told from 3 perspectives, as I've said before, and it's set in a land where every so often a new season starts. So at the end of a season, there's like earthquakes and volcano eruptions and things like that, and the land is basically destroyed. Then a new season begins. Okay, so only the strongest survive. So their society's basically like that. All the buildings are newly built because, you know, it's a new season. They're starting over all the time. So, yeah. So that's the 5th season. I don't know how to explain it without giving any spoilers away. So you're just gonna have to go and read it. It's a brilliant book. Brilliant book. So yes, the 5th season. Go read it. Okay, so these were my 6 book recommendations set in a boarding school. I hope you liked it. If you have any more books for me set in boarding schools, please let me know down in the comments, because I love books like that. Books set in a boarding school, you know, that kind of setting. I love that. So yeah, you know what to do. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.